Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Miss Southern Shell. Get Tyler on the boards. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Fantastic, man.
It's a wonderful
Ready for the
summer Friday.
Ready for the Super Regionals this weekend. That's what I'm excited about. Still been in baseball mode.
Yeah, Ole Miss
It's
is
nice to take a few days off too. That was fun.
Did a quick little fishing trip.
Yep.
Real quick, Palmer Home. We have that campaign going on right now. If you would like to help us raise money for Palmer Home, we're trying to feed 2 families this year. And for the top 5 fundraisers, we're having a VIP experience here at the shop. You and a guest come here. We're going to cook a whole hog. We're going to hang out. We're going to have fun. And we're doing that to raise money for the Palmer Home, which is a local organization. Helps children in our area. Anything you want to add to that?
I was letting you run with that. No, we try to help Palmer Home every year. This will be our second year to do this campaign, I guess you call it. Mm-hmm. But it's for a good cause, feeding local kids in our local community. But it really helps them out, and so we get behind them, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, for the top 5 fundraisers.
Yeah. How long does it run from?
Labor Day.
Until Labor Day. So you got until Labor Day to raise money.
Yes. And so you can put a team together and get other people to help you raise money. But the top 5 fundraisers get invited to our VIP experience. If you want any more
and they get to bring a guest.
They get to bring a guest.
There you go.
If you want any more information, go to howtobbqright.com/Palmer, Palmer.
The next big thing I wanted to remind everybody about is that Townsend Steak Cook-Off we're helping sponsor in August, I think the 13th of August.
13th, yes.
And I'm excited about it because they're adding a trout division. I've never been to a contest where they had a trout division. So we're going to be there hanging out, having a good time with our friends at Townsend and Spice over in Melbourne, Arkansas. Of course, they're having a big SCA cook. What's that payout? Did you look at it?
$2,500 for the
steak?
First place.
Yes, That's a good one. That's worth going there. I think there's already probably 15, 20 people maybe signed up, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know I don't know if there's a cutoff or whatever, but you want to go ahead and get your application in and start brushing up on those trout recipes. And I think you can cook the trout however you want to cook it. It's just got to go in a turn-in box.
And the trout's provided, right? You don't have to bring your own trout.
No, I think, the trout, I don't think you got to go catch them. That would be interesting, too, if you had to bring your own fish that you caught or something. I don't know how they would do it.
First you got to go fish, and then you got to go cook.
Imagine they're going to give you either some whole trout or some trout fillets, and you got, however long it takes you to cook your dish.
But yeah, we.
What would you think? If off the top of your head, if you was going to do a trout dish, what would you do?
I don't know. There's 2. I would go 1 or 2 ways. Either you put it into, because you got to turn in 6 individual portions, right?
Right.
Within one to-go box. I would either do. I don't know.
I'm thinking like trout tacos.
Yeah,
that was the first thing that came to my mind, and then smoked trout dip. Because you cream cheese and bacon up anything, I don't care what kind of fish it is, you're going to make a good little dip.
You know what else I thought of is Russell for Memphis in May. He did turkey egg rolls.
Yes, you could do that.
So you could do trout egg rolls, something like that.
You could take it's like a trout dip inside an egg roll and fried, or a wonton. Like, this cream cheese wonton?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crab rangoon. So we got trout rangoon.
Yeah,
we're throwing out ideas to help y'all win. That pays out pretty good money too. I'm not even cooking it. I'm just throwing ideas out.
This reminds me, talking about Russell, the Wrights actually sent us a new cooler.
Yeah, shout out to Russell and Karen and Riley. They were there. They knew how much that cooler meant to you, and it got stolen at Memphis in May. So a new one showed up at the shop.
It showed up. I was like, who ordered this? I did. They were like, I thought you did. I was like, no.
Oh, that was awesome.
I was hoping we made the people feel really, really bad.
And
they were like,
you know what?
Here's a new one. Sorry.
I doubt that.
Yeah.
You're not going to take that one back to Memphis in May next year. If you do, take the wheels off of it. Or it's not
yeah, because I feel like they stole it because of the wheels.
I don't think they stole it because it was a cooler. Yeah. I think it was because they threw the lid off. It was just a shopping cart at that point.
It was a vehicle, yeah. For more stealing.
More stealing.
But So those are our big highlights. You got anything else to cover?
That's the first on the horizon. We are getting ready. I mean, I don't know if we don't talk about that on the podcast, but it's time to start thinking about our Water Tower Festival here locally in Hernando. It's like a backyard, hometown barbecue fest. It's a rib shootout. We usually have a steak category and chicken wings. So if anybody's in the area or listening in Hernando, that's coming up. So
Yeah.
it's not till September.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
not
got
till September.
little ways to think about that one.
And we do have a sides chick demo here on Saturday. If y'all
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
stop by and I think it's 10 a.m.
Well,
to
I
12
think-
p.m.
So what's a sides chick demo? Because my
See, that's what I was thinking. You're going to have some chicks in here cooking some sides. Like, you're going to hit it up? No. First in line, Mikey. I think it was Mikey. Is it your idea, Tyler, or Mikey's idea?
I think it was Mikey's idea.
He's like, I want to cook. I want to show these women how to cook. I said, Mikey, what do you got going on there, man? You trying to? He's like, no, man, you got to. You know, if the women come in and they say they can cook delicious sides on a smoker, maybe, just maybe, they'll give the husband the green light to buy a new grill. It's a win-win in my book.
it's not a bad idea.
I mean, I'd want you to go. He's doing some really good stuff. He's doing a mac and cheese on the smoker. Y'all know how good that is.
And that's the recipe. He's doing the recipe that you did on TikTok where you don't
You don't have to make
boil
a
the
roux.
noodles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it all goes in.
you put it in a
comes
pot.
together.
Yeah,
It's
you
like-
throw it on.
Would you say it's kind of like making a queso, like a queso dip, but with noodles in it? Because it's real creamy, and that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Because when I think of mac and cheese, I make a cheese sauce or a roux.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the queso flavors.
No. It's just, I'm talking about the technique where you just dump this stuff in a pan
Oh, yeah,
with your dry
yeah.
noodles and
The technique.
let
yeah.
it roll. I wonder if it would work. I've never tried it. You could do it with cooked noodles. Just do all your cheese and all your
I
mixture
think
stuff
you'd have
first.
too much milk and stuff in there.
Oh, you need that. You need that dry noodle. That's a good call there. See, that's why you're the sides chick.
I've boiled noodles in spaghetti sauce before, like spaghetti noodles.
Yeah.
Cooked them in spaghetti sauce before.
Just soak up some of the water or watery element of it.
Yeah, yeah. And I've thought that it would make the noodles
What's he topping that one with?
panko or breadcrumbs. But you could use Ritz. You could use whatever.
Flaming hot Cheetos? Something crazy?
I did have somebody email me. Scott sent me this email. It was about, because we talked about grinder sandwiches last week. He said he was born and raised in Fort Walton Beach, but then he moved to Connecticut in 94, and it was a culture shock. He said every place has a sandwich that they call either a grinder or a roll, but they call everything a grinder. It can be hot, cold, deli meat, chicken parm, eggplant parm. It doesn't matter. They call it a grinder. He said that, but the grinders are around Connecticut, maybe Rhode Island, but every other place has like different names. In Connecticut, it's grinders. In Philly, it's hoagies. In New York, it's heroes. In New Jersey, it's subs. So it's not necessarily the type of sandwich it
It's
is.
just the
Just where you
slang.
are.
It's just where you are. Yeah.
It's a Coke, it's a pop, it's a soda.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all the same thing. To me, I thought it had to have the grinder salad. It don't have to.
Yeah. It's just all about perspective.
Yeah, all about perspective.
But I thought that was interesting.
You said you're going to make some of that grinder salad this weekend just to go with some ribs we're going to cook, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to use it in place of a coleslaw, but I'm going to do the coleslaw version. I'm not going to use the lettuce. I'm going to use the cabbage.
I still haven't done the lettuce version, and I want to. And that's going to be. That's going to be on one of the TikToks we're going to do pretty soon. I think I'm going to incorporate that into a little slide or some kind of way.
Yeah.
That'd be delicious.
Yeah, I think it will. I do it on. I wonder how that'd be on Blackstone. Probably pretty good.
Explain that to me.
So here's what I'm thinking:
Okay.
cheese down,
What cheese?
sliced cheese on the Blackstone.
Cheddar? White
On
American?
the Blackstone. It don't matter. It could be whatever cheese
Whatever
you
you
like.
want. Okay.
Colby Jack, whatever. Cheese goes down. Start piling your meats on it. More cheese, more cheese.
What kind of meats?
Deli meats.
Cold cuts.
Pepperoni, salamis, hams, capicola, all the good stuff.
Gabagool.
Yeah. You put that down like, I'm talking now, imagine Hawaiian buns cut in half.
Yes.
And then I throw the bread on top of that, let that cheese melt, and then try to flip the whole thing. And you make this like grilled cheese, big Hawaiian sandwich thing. And then you cut it up with like a pizza cutter into
Okay.
individual sandwiches.
Okay.
Think it'll work?
Yeah. What any dressing or?
You still got to put your salad. I got to figure out how to do that. I guess when you flip it, that's when you put your tomatoes and your salad on it
there
and
you
put the
go.
top bun.
And then
You have to have your top bun toasted over on the side. I don't know. This is just
No,
concept.
I like the idea. Once you flip it,
you
you've
have
got
to
your
use
top
two
bun.
spatulas and flip it.
Yeah. And then you pretty much can pull it off then.
Yeah, and to top it.
Cold salad, top it with that top
And then cut it.
toasted bun.
I'll see if it'll work. I'm gonna come up with something. That might
That's a
not
good
be the
idea.
ticket. I might build it some other way and then do that. But you got to separate it because you got to be able to put your cold stuff on.
I like the putting the cheese down first because it's going to get that crusty
That's what I was thinking.
skirt steak.
It kind of makes that cheese skirt.
Yeah, cheese skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like those
Skirt
breakfast
steak.
sandwiches people do.
Yeah, have
it's
you
all
seen
in
them?
one, and you flip it, and yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Something
Mhm.
like that. I don't know. That's the idea. I've been toying with it. I haven't made it yet, but I've been trying to think about how I can make another one of those, something different.
If that works, you could really take that and do anything. You can do your pepperoni rolls, your
Yeah,
ham and cheese rolls.
just grilled cheese sandwiches like that.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine that? A layer of mayo on the bread and then all your cheese and you put it on there and let it melt and then try to flip it.
That
I don't
would
know if
be
that'd
a
work.
great like appetizer football food
Mhm.
style.
If it would flip, that's the whole thing. I haven't tried to. You got to let it skirt enough to where you can pick the cheese up without it.
It almost makes a crust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm thinking you have to double cheese it at least because your first cheese is going to get crunchy. Then you got to put more cheese
To be
when you flip it.
cheesy.
Yeah, to be cheesy. And that don't sound bad, does it? At all.
Well, Traeger's got that big spatula.
Yeah, something like that's what I'm thinking about. The
Yeah.
big spatula that you could flip something, and then flip a pack of those Hawaiian rolls really easy.
And you do have a pizza spatula, but
peel, pizza
yeah, a pizza peel,
peel,
but it's not flat enough.
It might. The metal one. I've got a metal one and a
You
wood
got a
one.
big metal one, yeah.
It might work because I used it for butts before I had the buttulous. So, good idea.
All right, we'll work on that this weekend. We're gonna bust out the Blackstone this weekend.
I got a buy one get one on Blackstone yesterday. So I went to Walmart and got one of those like E-series like electric griddles or whatever, and I guess they're pretty much like sold out everywhere. And I got the very last one. Went home and cooked like some chicken and steak fajitas on it for the first time, just kind of seasoned it up. And then Ashley posted a picture of me. Somebody commented down below, was like, "Hey, I got one that's never been used. It's sitting on my patio. Come and get it." And I was like, "Awesome!"
Really?
Did you go get it?
I have to go get it this week.
Yeah.
Is it like an outdoor one though, or is it an indoor one too?
No. This one's an outdoor one. It's
Really?
like one of the bad to the bones. They sent me a picture, and I was like,
Yeah.
like,
Man,
all
they
right.
don't want it. That's
No.
an awesome find.
No, I was super excited.
So now you're gonna have an indoor and an outdoor model.
Yep. I was like, this indoor one's never going to get used.
Yeah.
Maybe Ashley will use it.
Oh no, I used our little indoor one for
It's
pancakes.
pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that one do? The electric? I have never tried one of those.
Awesome. Like,
Did it get plenty hot?
oh, yeah. Like, it gets all the way up to 500. I had it at
Oh, wow.
450 yesterday pretty much the whole time I was cooking. Really consistent heat throughout the.
Yeah.
It's like a enamel, I guess, pan kind of. It's
Yeah.
not like the normal flat top.
Oh, so so it's not just straight metal where you got to season it in, build up that seasoning on it.
No, it's actually like really quick right out of the box. Like, anybody that's looking for something like that, I highly recommend it. It's really cool.
Can you do as much chopping on that stuff? Like, if you're doing
I don't.
all the hibachi and the cheesesteak, you know what I mean? Because I'm
know
thinking
exactly
if I got
what
a
you're
metal,
talking
you might have to use, I would use probably wooden utensils on that.
Yeah.
Because
Pretty
you don't
much.
want to chip that, it's like Teflon coating or something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yesterday I didn't run into any issues, but I could see long term maybe that'd be a problem.
That's the way with those little electric ones like we have. It's just the Presto, right?
Oh yeah.
But you have
it's
to
cheap.
watch what you use on it, and you'll chip that stuff off. And you don't want to eat that.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
The other day, Dayton and the guys with Crank It Up Grills showed up here with a Crank It Up grill.
Hey, so he
Can talk
called
about
me. Well, I guess it was Mike from Code 3. He's kind of working with them some, and Dayton's a big buddy of his and helps him out up there in Collinsville, right?
Yeah,
a whole
Collinsville,
bunch.
Illinois.
And he met this guy. He lives in St. Louis now, but he's from California, and he had been building these Santa Maria style grills, I guess. And nobody, when he moved to St. Louis, nobody was
They didn't
ever
know what it
cooked on it.
was.
Nobody ever
probably.
cooked on anything
Yeah.
like that. And he said that was just commonplace for them back out west. And so they got the idea to start making, like trying to manufacture some and for the area and educate people on them and stuff like that. So they called me and asked me if I was interested in Argentinian style grill, which there's a little difference in them. We'll talk about that. But I was like, I don't have one. Heck yeah, I'd love to cook on one. Never done it. So the closest thing I had was like the attachment for the Weber. And what was that thing called?
I wish.
Man, it's been so long. I should know this, but
It's some type of Santa Maria, but it was a
yeah,
really
it's a Santa
heavy
Maria attachment
that sat on top
for
of
a
the
Weber.
Weber. Yeah.
And you know, you can kind of
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. But it's cool to have a real one. And so they brought it down to what was that, Saturday or so ago? Before we went out of town.
Yeah.
And we showed up. No, that was like Memorial Day
It
weekend.
was Memorial Day Saturday. Yeah.
That's when it was. And so we set it up in a parking lot, and they had a trailer with them. And he's like, I just thought they were bringing mine, and we were going to, cook on it, get a little footage.
They're going to teach you.
Yeah, teach me how to, build the fire and whatever you do in it. No, they had 5 or 6 different models. They had the small Santa Maria, the medium-sized Santa Maria, the large Santa Maria, and they had the Argentine. And they had this cool, like, metal table that they used for demos and stuff like that, where you can hang all this stuff on it. We wheeled it outside the shop and put up a tent and went to cooking. And, man, we had some good stuff. That was fun. I love cooking on open fire like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so... you need a smoker in your backyard. You got to have a smoker. Got to have a regular grill like a Weber or something. You got to have a Blackstone now. And the next one you got to have, Absolute Outdoor Kitchen, is one of these Santa Maria grills.
Well, do
you got that covered, you're good.
Well, what's your smoker? Is your smoker
Oh, it could be.
Or do you have to have like an out?
I mean, if it's my choice, I'm probably going to go at that point stick burner. But I'd probably always have a pellet grill too.
So at least 2 smokers.
Yeah.
Minimum.
It's a real smoker, pellet grill,
Okay.
Blackstone,
Okay.
Santa Maria grill, and a Weber.
Okay.
So you got
Weber PK,
four
so-
main ones, and then your small one. Because if you're just cooking hamburgers, hot dogs, something fast, fire up the Weber. You're not gonna cook on all, build fires and do all this stuff.
So bare minimum, you need 5.
Bearable.
How many do you have?
Oh, I don't have that many.
The last time I counted, it was like 35, 36.
No, I don't have that many.
I mean, some
I've
of
slowly
this
been
is
retiring.
commercial.
Yeah.
Retiring.
I have about 4. I'm still needing one. Well, I got that. I got 5 now. As I got this Argentine, but it's for research purposes. It don't even count. That's the way it works, right? See, I'm waffling there.
I bet you have.
And a deep fryer. You need a deep fryer too. Your outdoor. The outdoor area is one of the most important parts of your home nowadays. To me,
I agree.
that's where all the fun happens.
That's.
I mean, it's just
that
out.
is
It's the
true.
extension of your kitchen. It lets you have the kitchen, and us guys can get the outdoors. And you cook in it too. We'll let you do sides. I'm poking the bear now.
Well, I have 7, so I know that the numbers are
See,
negative.
Tyler, he's
You
only
have
been with us.
7?
He hasn't been with us 2 years yet. He's already up to 7 grills.
How many did you have when you started here?
0.
Oh, really?
I had a gas grill. I'm sorry, but it
Yeah.
sat in the garage. And
Are you-
then got a pellet grill. I got a little charcoal, like kind of camp grill, I guess, or whatever. That was
Yeah.
kind of how I started that. Have a Weber kettle. Have my Traeger. Have a Blackstone. Have another Blackstone going.
See?
Yeah. And then I still have that gas grill.
And he's still working. Still early, Tyler. Wait till you get the 3-year mark.
I see that drum looks mighty fine, man.
The drum. I forgot about a drum. Everybody needs a drum.
So we're up to 6 minimum.
For 6 minimum. You need a big outdoor area. But so we cooked on the Crank It Up grill.
So what's the difference between an Argentine and a Santa Maria?
So the Santa Maria grill is pretty much an open fire pit with a grate on it that has arm that comes up where you can lower and raise the grate on a crank. That's all. That's a straight up Santa Maria grill. It could be any size. It could be whatever, but it goes up and down over your coals. Now, an Argentine grill is more built like it has an offset little, we'll call it a fire stand. It's where you start with sticks of wood and you build a fire underneath them with a little kindling or whatever, and you get them going, you're burning down. And as those coals fall down, you use those to shovel over and make your fire. And it still has an up and down grate. It has various positions a lot of them have stuff where you can hang stuff on them. You can cook that way. You can do different kinds of things with it. So it's a souped up Santa Maria grill is really all it is. It has a little bit more features on it to where you can build the fire over to the side. And I guess in a Santa Maria grill, you could just go to building your fire, but it don't really have this other end of it that's got a little raised fireplace and a place specifically for building that fire.
Yeah. But the cooking process is pretty similar.
Yeah, the cooking process is the same. Now, what I like about this Crank It Up grill is it's like I would call it kind of a hybridized way they're doing it, because they're taking coal baskets and putting underneath the grill grate. And so you have the option. And it's so this, if you imagine this grill, it's kind of just an open pit with like 4 walls, and then it's got 3 sides that come up on the side kind of for heat to keep it contained.
Kind of like a Blackstone.
Deflector. Yeah, kind of like the things on the Blackstone. That kind of keeps your heat in and gives you a little bit more space to cook on when you're lowering it down too. But they took fire bricks and lined all the inside where it's going to help it hold heat on there when these coals are getting good and hot. It gives you a little bit more radiant heat from the bottom of the grill. Also, they use these fire baskets that sit directly on that. And so you can go into stick production, burning your coals down, shovel them over into fire baskets or whatever. Or you can start with lump coal, build you a bed of coals in there, still get your fire going and adding your sticks to it as you need them for that live wood burning, but you still got a base of coals. And I like that because with theirs, with theirs, it's faster. You can put that grate down right on top of those baskets, and you pretty much, it's like grilling on a Weber or any other grill when it's that close to it. But you have the options to raise it up, crank it up, and the Crank It Up is so smooth on that grill. It's got they've got some special kind of bearings in it to where, and it's got like this counterlock thing where it can't fall and hurt anybody. If kid walks up to it and pulls it, it's not just going to let it slam on their hands. They put a lot of thought into when they were manufacturing this thing.
Yeah, the only other Santa Maria grills that we've ever really messed with, the cranking was kind of like,
yeah, it was like on a cable or something, and it get twisty. I mean, that's the way I've seen them.
Yeah,
this one's smooth. It's like a fine oiled machine. It even had like little zerks where you could oil it and keep it lubricated, where it's going to stay that smooth. Yeah. It's not something that's going to wear out. I like the fact that the frame that kind of holds the cooking grate that goes up and down, you can take the grate out. And then you can take those fire baskets they've made, stick them in that. And so if you've elevated stuff, you've got, stuff hanging up top, like if you're hanging chicken or sausages or whatever, pineapples, you can raise the fire up and down by putting those trays in that grate, and you're controlling what you're cooking on there. I mean, it's got all kinds of different possibilities.
Yeah.
I would say, because when we were there, I was like, have you ever thought about, I know this Argentinian style, making some of these meat swords that, you could easily rotate to where you could do these big kebab. Yeah, that's what it would be. You turn it into that. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go and make some of those too. Because he gave me this cool fire tool. He made these, and the story behind that I thought was pretty good. He's like, his kids were out doing something. He was trying to keep them busy. And so he was making something with metal. So he made these swords. It's like a metal sword. It's got a little hilt on it. And at the top, he kind of put a little T on it. So they're not going to kill themselves. It's not just a sharp object. But he said his kids were out there and they'd fight and loved them. He said, man, and he grabbed it one day and was moving color. He said, this is a great fire poker. And so now he makes them as fire pokers. And he gave me one of those. That was pretty cool.
That was heavy metal. If you knock sword to sword, it's going to shake you a little bit.
Yeah. It was a real deal.
Yeah.
It made that's U.S. steel right there.
It made the ting ting.
Well, that was the big thing. Yeah, it did. That was the big thing about the quality of it to me. Everything was so heavy on these grills. So you're not going to, just hearing talk about it, you probably don't get a great understanding or build of the quality of it. But if you ever get a chance to see one in person, I highly recommend it. Hopefully we're going to, I got the one here, but that one's going to the house.
Yeah, we're going to do some videos.
But yeah, I want them to. I've tried to talk to Dayton and see if they want to come back and do some demos here at the shop. But do they have a website up yet?
Yep, crankitupgrills.com.
So they left a pamphlet. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
No,
these are very well thought out.
Was it crankitupgrills.com?
Crankitupgrills.com.
We'll have to put has there been a post on that about the link to them or anything? Okay.
We had the dry age post yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got some more stuff coming.
So I figured that's what we talked about too, what we cooked.
So what'd you cook?
So Dayton did bring some dry aged tri-tips. And how long those were like
19 days.
19 days. They weren't super long.
Yeah.
Had some decent. I mean, it had some decent age on them. It changed. You know, that they'd shrunk down, lost some moisture, developed some flavor.
You're gonna have to explain to me what's the point of dry aging.
So the dry aging is supposed to enhance the flavor of meat. Now, I've never been super crazy about it. I mean, it's a unique taste because it doesn't intensify. So if you think of the way cheese ages, I guess beef tries to get some of that flavor too, but it also shrinks it. So you're taking some of the moisture out of it in a controlled environment. It builds this like pellicle, I guess you'd call it on the outside, almost like, you know, when you're curing salmon or something, it does. But it gets tougher on the outside. Sometimes there's a lot of discoloring on it. But the goal is once you have it so many days in a controlled environment at a certain temperature, you're going to make it taste better and it's going to be more tender because it's breaking down. I guess it's
like got bacteria.
Yeah. So we've got, meat has natural stuff in it that causes it to break down. It's probably like the lactic acid buildup, releases, and it's chemical stuff. I don't know. That's not my certification.
Yeah.
But I just know it's supposed to make it taste better is what they tell me. And so 19 days, not very long. Some of these dry aged stuff, they go a minimum of 30. They go up
90.
to 120. Yeah, I've seen some crazy dry aged stuff.
But with that, you have to have a really controlled environment.
You do.
Right?
Most of them do it in like certain humidity, certain temperatures. You're never opening it. They have certain dry aged boxes. He just did them in a refrigerator, like on a raised rack. That's the key thing. Air has to get around the meat, or if it's sitting on anything, it's going to build up bacteria and it's not going to get the moisture away from it. It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Could possibly make you sick, I guess, could be contaminated. So you have to really watch doing it. But if you got the right environment, and you can do it in a fridge that's like at least below, I would say 43, 42, something like that. I mean, don't quote me on this, because I'm not an expert dry ager. This is what I was told. You keep it that low and you don't open it and you leave it in there. And he did it for 19 days and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best tri-tip I've ever ate in my life, but I could definitely tell that it was tender. It had, a little bit different flavor, and it's almost like a little bit of a, I don't know, would you call it, describe it as a tang maybe? Just a little bit of a, that's the way dry aged tastes to me. It's like cheese. You know how cheese has that little bit of a tang flavor, and I guess it comes from the bacteria breaking it down or whatever it is what gives it to it. Some people absolutely love it. They consider it the finest beef there is. Me, maybe I just ain't ate it enough. I don't know. Maybe it's not an acquired taste, but it was good. It was really good.
But you lose a lot too.
You lose a lot of the weight. That's why dry aged meat's more expensive. Because it takes time to do it, but then two, you're losing product, and then that's something they can't charge you for, which is water weight to begin with. But not only do you lose the weight, the actual water or moisture's coming out of it, you have to lose part of the product to trim all that aging off to get it down to the real deep red, pretty meat that's below it.
Yeah.
And I will say that's the one thing about dry aged meat. It's real like red, deep red color. It's got a beautiful look to it.
It does. It does.
But I mean, do you like it? Do you prefer it over just say regular?
I don't think I've tried it enough to give a real strong opinion of it. I just when the amount that he had to trim off the tri-tip,
I'll say
it hurt my heart a little.
Yeah, to waste that much. Well, it's done that.
Could
so
you do anything with it, or is it just dry?
No, I don't think you can do anything with it.
Yeah, there's no sausage.
Yeah, there's no. Don't grind that up. Well, I mean, me and Mark did that. We were doing a dry experiment with these bags.
Yes.
And it was like a bag that got all the air off and it kept it perfect. We did it on a beef tenderloin. And man, when we got through left of it, there wasn't much left of that beef tenderloin. So look at all this meat we've wasted. And so that got me to thinking, this dry age process might work great on some cuts of beef. Well, if you got a really lean piece of meat and it's big, you want to dry age it, you could stand to lose some of the surface area on it. You don't mind some of the weight because you're trading that for flavor and tenderness. Well, on a good tender piece of meat to begin with, do you need to do that?
Probably.
You need to do it on a ribeye because it's got so much fat and marbling. That's all. I mean, why do you want to take the moisture out of a ribeye? I mean, it's delicious the way it is. Let the heat do it to it. That's just my take on the dry aging. Now, I do like a wet age. You give me a brisket that I've had wet aged for 30 days in the cryovac, just in the refrigerator. Man, it breaks it down. It's super soft. You don't lose a lot of discoloration on the meat as long as the vacuum seal is still intact good. It's the wet age process works fantastic. And so I always like at least a 30 days. I have gone 45 and even 60 on a brisket. And it just helps a tough cut of meat break down, get softer. Doesn't really change the flavor, I don't think. It just changes the texture a lot. I can tell a big difference in something that's had 28, 30 days on it versus a freshly packed brisket out of a case or,
I can tell a difference when I pick up a brisket. If
it flops.
If it's stiff, I know it's fresh. If it's floppy,
which
I mean, probably going to be more tender.
Yeah, that's usually what I'm feeling for is that floppiness too. I want the ends to almost touch when you pick it up.
So back to the tri-tip.
So we cooked them on the Argentine.
Yes.
We started up a couple basket of coals, seasoned them up with I
think it was
AP
Boar's Night Out.
Double garlic.
And steak rub.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all that went on them. They kind of reverse seared them. Started them out above the coals. Dayton was trying to keep the grill. Tyler, do you remember, was it 350, 400?
Yeah, that sounds right.
In that range. So you would use the wheel
to move it up.
Move the grates up and down until he shot the grates to get that temperature. And that's where they went until they got up to about 115 degrees. And it probably took, 30 minutes maybe.
Yep.
Flipped them a couple times, just every 10 minutes or so. Put them in a pan, put them up top, and just let them hang out and rest while we cook some other stuff.
So we only took them to 115?
Yeah, at first. So it was like a reverse sear, basically.
Yeah, okay.
115, panned them, set them up high, brought the grate back, or we cooked a few other things and had some, stuff on there.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and then then he lowered the grate back down right on top of the coals, sitting flat, flush. Put them back on there and seared them, just a couple minutes on each side, and then cut them and ate them. And we made tacos with it, and they were fantastic.
Another thing was they were really, really good, but you tasted the charcoal and the
the wood,
the grill flavor, and I love that grill flavor. So I couldn't even tell that it was a dry age. Me,
I get that too.
Yeah,
maybe that's
I like that Argentine grill because you get that flavor from it.
Yeah, I like, and the way he ran it, bed of lump coal first, and then he brought some red oak that they had and made little splits with it, and took a hatchet and made kindling pieces, and then would lay them across the baskets to where they would start smoldering too, but they would go to some fire, so you were getting some flame action from that instead of just burning down all the wood and shoveling it over.
Yeah.
Now, if you got time and you want to do it, the way to go is build that fire. You're getting an authentic experience then.
You can stay out there all day.
Stay out there all day, play with fire. The only downside I can see to cooking on that thing is you're not just going to roll it up in the house or, in the garage or whatever when you get through cooking, because you've got open coals right there that unless you shovel them out, they got to burn down. And so when we got through that day, they loaded their grills back up and hit the road. And then, so I was like, I'll just roll this back up in the shop. And I got to looking, I was like, man, these coals are still, I can cook for another couple hours on these. So Austin came out there and we said, let's shovel these out. And he shoveled them out and took them out and put them in a metal receptacle so they wouldn't start a fire. But you got to think about that. If you're cooking, you got friends over or whatever, you're still going to have a live fire there that's open. So there's no shutting it off.
Yeah, there's no way to shut it down like you would a web.
And I would imagine, that's what in California, most of them, they're built in. These are brick pits.
Yeah, outdoor.
The outdoors that you see that stay out in a designated cooking area and all that, but know that you got live coals still going. So,
so what? We did try. So he cooked the tri-tip, sliced them. He got them about medium rare.
Yeah, that was right. That was right in that range where you'd want to tri-tip.
And then you grilled the tortillas.
Grilled some tortillas. I grilled some green onion.
Oh yeah, we chopped the green onion out of it. And there was something else. We had some cheese and
some corn. I did some corn. What, are you talking about just for the taco?
Yeah, just for the taco.
I did a little skillet of chorizo and cheese.
Let's talk about that.
I will say that did not turn out exactly how I envisioned it, because I'd seen somebody else doing it on TikTok. You see all this stuff. These guys would just throw an iron skillet on some fire and then fill it, chorizo and put all this Mexican kind of cheese in there, and it turns into this awesome looking chorizo. I don't know, queso fondue looking stuff or whatever, stretchy. Well, I said, there must be some good Mexican cheese. Let me go to the store and see what I can find. Well, I found some. It was like queso fundido. I was that y'all remember what it was on the
I
package?
don't remember. Yeah.
It was supposed to have been melting cheese. I don't know my Mexican cheeses. I know Velveeta. You know, I'm an
Velveeta
American
probably
cheese
would've worked.
man. Probably would have. That's what I said. I said, next time I'm going queso blanco Velveeta. Because it did. It melted and mixed with the chorizo, but then it just turned into like, I don't know, mortar. I mean, for real. It was like you could brick at that gum
It was so thick.
house.
You couldn't even get a spoon and like get a little
I can make a
spoon.
Pueblo with this over here. You know,
It was pretty tough.
yeah, but I ate it. It tasted good. It just cooked all the moisture out some kind of way. I don't know if I took it. It was just an iron skillet. That didn't really work out good.
I think Mark said it was quesadilla melting cheese on it. It said on the package.
Maybe.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
That
Yeah, I
might
think
be
it did.
Yeah.
Quesadilla melting cheese or something. I need to brush. I need to learn. I need somebody to educate me on what kind of cheeses I could use. Because right now I have found the best cheese for making like Mexican style dishes that's close to the Mexican style dishes that I know here, you know, in our town. Hernando's
Yeah.
got 6 Mexican restaurants. The number one cheese they use is like white American, like Land O'Lakes white American cheese, and it melts as good as anything. And when I started making like restaurant cheese dip with it, like probably don't even have that kind of queso in Mexico. But here in the United States, the gringo version, it's white cheese and green chilies.
And they
it's delicious.
sell gallons of
Gallons
it.
of it. If you got that and a decent margarita, you got a rest of gold mine.
Heck yeah.
Or at least in a small town like ours, you got 5 of them. They're all rocking.
That's a cure for depression right there.
Mm-hmm.
So then you did some corn.
Yeah, I did some roasted corn, and that was delicious. I
And that was really easy.
Yeah, I sprayed it with duck fat and started basting it with
Oh, I
butter a
didn't know
little
you did
bit.
that.
Yeah, seasoned it up, you know. So it was kind of, you know, put a little of that chimichurri, Alfregone's chimichurri seasoning on it.
Yeah.
Just kind of, you know, made it. It was like grilled corn. That was super easy on that Argentine grill. I hung some sausage. I got some hot links, like beef style hot links. Put them on one of the hooks and hung them up and let them kind of slow cook. They did. I was like, I had these things hooked up. And I was like, oh, these are fixing to fall off, and this ain't gonna work. No, they work perfect. As the skin, I guess, as the sausage heated up and cooked, the skin kind of got tight and it held it on the hook. So those were good. I think that's about all
think
we
that's
did
it.
on it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we just, I mean,
Green
yeah,
onions.
in the big grilled green onions. I like those. Char grilled green onion, I guess you call it. You gotta get the big bulb ones. When they started selling them at our Kroger.
I love them.
Yeah, oh yeah. They started like what dish is it that I get? It's a molcajete at La Siesta. Always gives you those green onions, and I was like, man, these are delicious. I guess they've just probably flat topped them in the bag. But you take them and chop them up and mix them with everything else. It grows great on a taco.
And it looks cool on the grill.
Yeah, it looks. It's really good though.
So we got that grill, and it's going to be.
I'll put it to use. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like I enjoy the open fire part of cooking, building a fire and I guess it's just a primal thing. Where if you're into barbecuing and you like building a fire, that's the kind of grill you want because you're actually building it and cooking over it. And there's a lot of people doing it now. I mean, I don't know if it's just because the algorithms know what I'm looking at or whatever on like Facebook and TikTok, but I see a ton of it coming across my feed of this live fire cooking. So there's a place people are interested in it. You know?
Yeah, I think so too. I think I've been seeing a lot more of
Yeah.
it.
A lot of options with it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do with it.
You always talk about like barbecue and fellowship, and I feel like that's one of those grills that like it takes a team to do it, and it feels like an experience.
If you're cooking for yourself, you're not going to go out there and fire one of those up. But if you've got people coming over, it's a great talking piece, showstopper. If somebody comes to your house and you're firing up that and you're building this fire and cooking all this food of it, they're going to think you know what you're doing.
Hanging some chicken.
Hanging some chickens up. You've got pineapples over on the side. You've got these tri-tips or big steaks you're doing on it. You could have, and that's what I like about it. You could have, you know, a cast iron pot going with something on
Yeah.
it, still cooking. I mean, there's a lot of versatility in one.
You could really cook anything you wanted on
Pretty much.
one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is a learning curve a little bit because you have to realize your heat is coming up and getting out away from you. So you have to learn how to, you know, get something cooked on the right side. Like if you're cooking chickens, you're going to have to flip them or different ways, you know, things you're going to have to learn. Excuse me.
Do you think there's a lot of fire management learning in the process of cooking on one of those?
Definitely, I would think.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're going to have to figure out how to position it because wind's going to be a factor. Outdoor temp's going to be a factor. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, you know, and I think they're kind of simplifying it with these baskets, and that kind of steals something from stick burners.
So how is that simplifying it?
Well, instead of just having a pile of coals,
You can
you can actually have it, and you can get air up
Move
under
it.
it. Yeah, you can move it around. You can move the baskets around. It's probably easier to clean up and clean out. But so people started cooking the stick burners. You always built your fire right in the fire basket, and then people realize you get them raised up, you get them in a basket, you get something like that, you get better airflow. It's kind of doing the same thing.
I bet it keeps the bottom of your fire basket from burning out
Yeah,
too quickly
it's not.
too.
Yeah, I could see that. And I hadn't looked on it close enough to see if they have little feet on them to get that basket up off the fire rock. But that would make sense to me to give it that little gap of air to let it flow through it too. Because there's no like bottom vent in these. There's no air coming in. Actually, it has a clean out with like a little nipple on it, but I don't think you open it to let air in because all your air is kind of coming just open.
Yeah.
But check them out. If you've never seen like that Santa Maria or Argentine style, go to Crank It Up Grills, look at their website, but go look at some videos and do some searching and start paying attention to some live fire cooking, and you'll see some different examples of this, and it's really cool stuff.
That one's the nicest one I've seen. Crank
In
It
person,
Up.
I mean, I haven't seen that many of them. That's the first Argentine grill I ever put my hands on.
So I've got a question from someone in the community.
Sure.
Our Let's Get to Cooking community. Aquafina. I don't know if that's a real
Water?
name or a
Oh, I thought you were just talking about bottled water.
no, Aquafina.
Yeah, okay, well,
she's
that's a cool name.
active member of our community.
Awesome. What's her question?
So she got a new grill and was asking your opinion of this grill. I'd never heard of it, so I had to Google it. It's a Even Embers pellet fueled ceramic grill. So it's an egg with a pellet hopper.
I haven't heard of that brand, but I heard they were doing that with some of the eggs, putting pellet hoppers on them.
Yeah.
I can imagine it. I could see where it could work, but I could also see where there could be some problems because for the pellet grill to work, it has to use up, the pellets, and the heat has to swing and drop for the grill to drop more pellets in. Well, when you go to a ceramic grill, they're really based on holding heat in, radiant heat, not using much fuel at all. So is it going to have enough swings or drops to keep that time going to say,
It would have to be
we need pellets,
slow.
but it had to be really slow because you don't need that many pellets to get that heat. Once you get the heat up
I didn't even think about
to maintain it. So that would be my first thought on them. I've never played with one or seen one, but I did hear that there were some of them out there. It'd be interesting to know. I would think right off the bat, it's going to use way less pellets because ceramic type, that design is so efficient.
Yeah.
I mean, with the holding the heat in, not needing much air to run. One of my complaints with the pellet, with the ceramic grill, is I don't seem to get as much smoke flavor off of it. Like I really got to put a bunch of wood in there, and it's not burning super clean because for them to run right, you have to choke them back. You can't. I mean, it's just or else they'll get away from you. They get too hot. That's been my experience with cooking them. Yeah, no, they're great for high heat cooking, for grilling. I mean, for doing fast stuff. I just think some of my low and slow stuff is better off a regular smoker than it is on, say, like a green egg or something like that. You can cook anything you want on them. The cooking range, can you cook a butt on there all day long? Probably one of the, super easy, but they don't, the smoke and everything, it's different. It's different. You got to learn it. Yeah, you got to learn it.
You're not going to get as much smoke because it's not pulling and drawing as much.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to.
Because I keep it choked back. And then when you look at it, it looks like it's almost dirtied up because if you got too much wood on it or whatever, I don't know. It's a fine line on running one of those as far as quality of like smoke flavor. I think you get.
But you're talking about just the Komodo
ceramics in
style
general. Yeah. Versus say a drum or a traditional smoker or even a pellet grill.
My biggest problem with the ceramic style grills is once they get shut up, they have a tendency to grow mold really quickly.
You got to see when you store them, you got to leave them open enough.
Yeah, you do. That's a lesson.
Yeah, don't leave it all closed up. It'll backwoods on you.
Do they just hold moisture?
I guess it just builds up in there some kind of way. I mean,
if you leave your coals in there, if you do the things you're not supposed to do, but
what everybody does.
Yeah.
But there's a remedy to that too. Just heat that dude up, burn it all off. scrape it down, and go to cooking.
How many times have you burnt some mold out of a
A
smoker?
bunch. Cooking on backwoods, especially. There's nothing worse is forgetting to drain the water pan. Man, it gets nasty.
A water pan with fat and grease and everything.
That's how a whole hog cooked in it or something. Whole load of shoulders.
That's probably the nastiest smelling smoker ever.
In barbecue.
It could probably get the funkiest, the quickest.
If you shut them up, that's a test. How long does it take different ones to
see who could get the funkiest?
Yeah, if you forget to clean your grill, cook all the same stuff on them, shut them up, see what happens.
But this Evan Embers pellet fueled ceramic grill, it does have 450-ish square inches of cooking space.
Is it like a round ceramic grill?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you get your bottom
some stages.
and then you get
yeah. I mean stages,
and
racks.
And then it's a 16-pound pellet hopper, which is kind of small, but
that's standard.
It is standard.
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
But if they're not using much, if they're efficient.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a grill.
I saw a guy in the community that put a pellet hopper on his Weber kettle. I didn't know that there was like attachments.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
I've seen them. I mean, Candy had them put one on a Jambo stick burner. You could there's an aftermarket company that made pellet attachments to go on any grill. That was his thing. And I mean, if you think about it, all you're doing is drilling a hole through your smoker in wherever your firebox is, and putting a fire pot in there, and then and putting it outside and putting a pellet chute on it.
Wow.
So, and then having a way to hook up a thermometer to what your grill temp is. It's pretty simple. I mean,
I guess the benefit of doing that is just cost of pellet grills these days. And so if you already have a Weber kettle.
I guess so. I mean, that and being able to convert like a homemade, like people like to make their own homemade grills.
I was going to say,
So
I figured the
it's probably more of that than modifying something, something already store bought. Most people are making their own and putting it on there. Like,
that's kind of cool. So
it is
could
cool.
make your own pellet grill at home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Essentially.
Definitely.
Yeah. If you were so inclined.
Mm-hmm. If you're so inclined.
So this week we ordered Arby's Wagyu burgers. Wagyu.
That's it.
Wagyu.
Oh, you're right.
Wagyu.
I was just laughing at Arby's. Y'all told me the idea. Y'all seen these Arby's burgers? I said, no, but I want to try it. Wagyu burger from fast food. Hey.
Was it Wagyu?
I don't know that. I don't know if it was Wagyu or not. I don't know if Arby's has a grill. But
no kidding.
But I mean, I never went by there. It's like, man, it really smells great here at Arby's Grilling. Have y'all?
No, and they don't sell burgers.
They don't sell burgers. They sell, I'm sure, bagged, heated up roast beef and whatever else they have.
Chicken sandwiches.
They probably have a deep fryer. Their curly fries are on point. But that burger wasn't deep fried. It was good. I'm not gonna knock it. It was a good burger.
It was a good.
Fast food burger for what they're saying. Yeah. Now, was it really Wagyu? I don't know. There's no way to tell. I'm telling you what they did to them, and I think did they make a comment, or did I read it somewhere that they tell people they're sous vide them?
I think that was
so. That's a part of their thing. That's what they're doing. They've already cooked those somewhere, held them to a certain temperature, and now they can take them to their stores and they can drop them in a bag, in some warm water, and heat it up, and the temperature will be the same. So it fits the application. That's why they're not grilling anything in there. But it was a pretty good burger. I'm not gonna lie. It reminded me of kind of a you remember Backyard Burgers, chain? That's what it reminded me of, without the grill taste.
Yes, Backyard used to be the best.
But it was, a substantial patty. It was bigger than a quarter pounder at McDonald's. I mean, if you want some fast food, you want a decent burger, I'd say give it a shot.
Yeah.
The sauce they had on it, they had some kind of special sauce on it that was pretty good. We didn't have they have another one. It's like a bacon ranch version and then just a deluxe version. And we just went deluxe to try it. It was cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and red onion, and special sauce on both sides, and the burger. It was, I'd give it a thumbs up.
I would too. It was pretty good.
I would eat another one, put it that way. I mean, it's a fast food. Is it as good as a burger?
Did it change your life?
No. Is it as good as a burger that you could cook a Wagyu burger you could cook at home? Heck no. And so we're gonna do a comparison. I'm gonna cook you and probably do a TikTok on my version of a Wagyu deluxe burger.
That's a good, yeah. Okay, so how are you going to cook a Wagyu?
I'm not going to sous vide it. I'm going to grill it.
Where are you going to source the meat?
It's probably just going to be some A9 trimmings that I got from Kevin and grind them up myself.
I know, but if you were going, if I
were going to source it,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would call Kevin the butcher shop. Say, hey man, I need some ground. He sells. You can go at his butcher shop and buy ground Wagyu by the pound. Now they're starting to sell it. I think Walmart has a line. Yeah. And I want to say I saw some at Kroger the other day, but I don't know if it was like, it was kind of misleading.
It's got to be a
There's no USDA thing on this. Yeah. There's no thing that says, oh, this is Wagyu cow. We certify it. None of that. So it's all marketing. So the one I saw was like Wagyu like or something like that. So, man, what is this? They're just selling fatty meat. Yeah. It's probably all it is. I mean, I don't believe that it's coming from any different. Like they've got some, I mean, if it was, it'd be so much per pound. They'd never have it in Kroger or Walmart. Yeah. It's like they might have it from cows that have Wagyu-like genes or something.
Yeah. Yeah. At what point? What makes Wagyu? It's like certified Angus beef. You can call anything Angus beef, and they'll try to rip off the certified Angus beef and kind of trick the consumer a little bit.
Yeah.
But to have that certified Angus beef brand, they have certain stipulations and regulations and requirements.
Right. Of them there.
Yeah.
I'd put probably certified Angus beef up ground at the store. Like you can go to Superload, buy certified Angus beef, and put that up against any of those Wagyu brands. And I bet it tastes better.
Oh yeah, I would
just because I mean I've had it. It does. Now it does not taste better than when I have brisket trimmings and I grind them up. But see, the thing with that Wagyu beef is you can't have like 100% Wagyu beef. I mean, to me, like if I'm all my brisket trimmings, I guess it does have more fat in it than it does lean. But when I have the ratio right, even if it's 50-50 fat, it's so much grease. You have to cut it with something. So what I do is buy chuck roast, like a choice grade chuck roast, grind it, and then grind all my Wagyu brisket trimmings, and then mix those together. So you end up with something that's more akin to a 80-20, that you would see. But it has so much more flavor because it's got that really good fat in it. And that makes the absolute best burger. So it's part brisket, part chuck. Oh, it's good.
I tried cooking one just from ground Wagyu trimmings, and it wouldn't even stay together, even on just a flat top cooking.
Yeah, it just fell apart.
It just falls apart.
That's when you just cover it in cheese.
That's what I did.
That's your glue, and then you scoop it up, and you probably still got one of the best hamburgers. Now, I will say this. You can cook a burger that's got a good bit of the real Wagyu fat in it. You can cook it to well done, 165 degrees, and it still just runs juice out everywhere. That's when I learned. I was like, man, these are awesome. You cook these, you can't mess them up. You can overcook them. I mean, I wouldn't undercook them, but I mean, I'm not eating my burger rare, but I like it medium. That's where I want it. So
every time I order a rare burger, they look at me funny. Are you sure?
You want worms. Got a worm
I only do it somewhere like Huey's or whatever where I know they're getting the meat fresh.
Yeah. Hey, that's the gold standard for me in the Memphis area. You want to base your burger, if you got a good burger, you got to beat Huey's. And I ain't saying Huey's is the best, but they're the best baseline. Yeah. You got to beat them and you got something. There's several that do. I mean, Tops has got a good double cheeseburger.
Everybody talks about that.
You never had the Tops double cheeseburger?
I haven't had one. Everybody talks about it.
We need to do a TikTok video on that. Just, it's so good. I had a few things in the community before we had to get out of here today. Ted wanted to know the best way to heat up baby back ribs. He's going to cook them one day, and he's got to reheat them the next day. And so there was a bunch of different answers in there. The best way I found is when you cook them and you get them to the tenderness you want, they're ready to come off the grill. You open up the foil, let the steam out, pour the juice off, and wrap them up. Don't take them out. Don't glaze them. Don't put anything else on them. Just wrap them up at that point. Get the juice off of them, wrap them up. The next day, I take them out and let them come up to room temp. So out about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You don't want to get hot, but you want them to knock the chill off. Stick them back on the smoker at 250 degrees. Warm them up for about 30, 45 minutes. Then open the foil and glaze them. That's going to set your sauce. If you want them dry at that point, just spritz them with a little juice and hit them with some more dry rub, but that's going to bring them back. Now, if you don't want to fire up the grill, you can do that in the oven.
Yeah.
I would do it on a sheet pan and then open them up, put them on a rack, glaze them like that, do the same thing in the oven at 250. You're looking at probably at least an hour and 15 minutes to heat them back up.
I've done it 45.
I mean, if you get it hotter than 250, you can.
Yeah.
If you go to 300, 325, you can do it faster. But watch doing that because it will burn the sauce if you're caramelized. If it's got, if you've got sweet rub and stuff, you start shooting up over 300 degrees, you got to be watching it. So you don't want to burn it, but get all that fat and drippings out of the foil when you get them cooked the day you're smoking them. Wrap them back up. So most of the time I put them in new foil, instead of just using that same. I'll take them out of that, put them in a new, wrap them up, let them sit a few minutes to cool off. You don't want to put them in the refrigerator piping hot. Stick them in the fridge overnight. Take them out the next day. Let them air. Let them come up temp a little bit on the counter, 250 degrees.
Get some back right.
Get some back right. Now, so a lot of people saying sous vide. That's a great way to do it. Mm-hmm. If you got the big enough container, you got and I wouldn't do it for one slab of ribs, but if you got several slabs of ribs, get them dudes vacuum sealed. You can drop them down in that sous vide. You can hold them, 140 degrees, and they're going to come up to temp. It's fast. It's easy. Now you still have to sauce and glaze them, I think. So they're going to have to go back on the grill or in the oven or something like that. But just to get them back warm enough to eat, that's a good way too.
With the sous vide, you do get even. Yeah. Like you're in.
Yeah, it's all even. Everything's going to be controlled temp. That's going to be right. They're going to be juicy that way, but they're not going to have that glazed finish that you like or that. I mean, I guess you could take them out and kind of dry roll them.
You could glaze them before you sous vide them.
I mean,
could you?
If you put sauce and stuff in there, it's going to change the color of it. It's not going to look really good. They don't look as good coming out of a water bath or anything like that. You still got to do something else for the appearance of them.
You're saying pull them out, maybe put a little rub.
And dry them out on the grill or throw them in the oven. So you're going to have to do something to them to get them to look right. It works. It's a great way for controlled heat, but it just doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
But the grill's the best option. Smoker,
What else you got? Could you char grill them?
Yeah, no, that's another option too that's good. And it's a different style. But once you take them out, you throw them over on a charcoal grill. You don't want them, a good medium hot charcoal grill. You start basting them with sauce and you flip them and you baste the backside and you flip them back and you just do that for about, 20 minutes or so on a charcoal grill, decent, 350, 400 degree heat. You could do it on a propane grill. It'd work the same, but you're just moving them and it's kind of, we call that char grilling. That would be pretty good.
You got to be careful making sure you get that even.
Yeah, and you're going to get some chariness. You're going to get a little burning. It's higher heat. The sugar's going to caramelize. It's a different tasting rib, but it's a dang good rib.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of that's what I call that event style ribs. Like if you go to these big rib fest and things like that, a lot of those guys are finishing them on a char griller.
Yeah, they've cooked them.
That's what they've cooked them the day before. They've just been in process of operation of cooking ribs, and they're bringing them back on a char griller, brushing them with the thin sauce and just kind of warming them up, and it's all caramelizing. It's different than just like, say, I don't know, competition rib or eating rib that we eat at home.
It'd be good on that Argentine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you could definitely do it on that. I got another one.
All right.
Another question. This is from Joel. He wants to smoke a brisket in a week or two, and I guess he found a deal. This is what it was. Joe, he wants to smoke a brisket in a week or two. He's got one in the freezer. When should he take it out?
That's a good question.
So what would you say?
Well, with the brisket, 7 days.
I would say at least 6-7 days.
Yeah.
If you're putting it in a refrigerator that's not getting opened all the time, you want it to be completely thawed out, that's how long you're going to give yourself.
You don't want to go cooking it and it still be a little icy in the middle.
And you want to know if you can put it in water. Do not do that. Don't run a sink full of hot water.
Why not?
Just because it's going to start the cooking process and you're thawing it out in a hurry. I mean, it doesn't work right. It doesn't. Now, I have cheated.
You have done it.
Not in hot water. I have cheated. Put the brisket in a cooler, put a little ice in the cooler too, and then filled it up with water and let it hang out in there for a few hours. And then it didn't completely thaw. I didn't leave it like overnight, but then stick it in the refrigerator. That speeds it up too. So you can do that in a pinch, but the best way is going to be give it that week in the refrigerator, especially if it's like 17, 20 pound brisket. If it's a 10 to 13 pound brisket, it may only do 5 days.
Yeah.
So go by your size, but that's going to be your best bet. There was another one. Okay, here what it was. This was Michael. He found a deal on briskets, but it's almost out of date. Will it make it? Is it okay to leave it in that refrigerator for 2 weeks before he's going to cook it? Or how long does he have before he needs to freeze it?
I don't know. That's a you question.
I would say if it's close to being out of date, I wouldn't want to go very long at all on the refrigerator. I would be scared
What's
to go
your
a week.
tops?
I'd be scared to go a
Go
week.
week.
I'd
Okay.
be scared. I mean, 2 or 3.
We're talking cryovac.
Yeah, it's cryovac, but it's out of date, so you're getting it on deal. Or if it's going out that day, or if it's already reduced, I would freeze it. If I knew I wasn't going to cook it, freeze it, take it
But then
back
you've
out a
gotta
week
cook it
later, let
immediately,
it thaw.
right?
Or if you don't cook it, man, that's the best way to do those. I mean, you might get by with a day or two, but if there's any discoloration that I can tell, or a lot of bubbles in it or anything, it's on the verge. I mean, I'm not saying it's brewing, but it probably needs to be froze and then thawed back out and cooked immediately after that.
What does the freezing process do?
I mean, I guess it kills all the stuff growing in it. It's going bad. It stops that.
It stops
that
it.
bacteria.
Yeah,
Kills it.
okay.
That's what I'm guessing. That's
What
why.
is-
I mean, I know, I ain't gonna lie. I shop the reduced section,
Oh,
but most of that
gosh.
stuff, if I'm not cooking it that day, I'm freezing it.
And that's how
I
we
like a
end
deal.
up-
I like a
and
deal.
That is how we end up with a freezer full of
Got
meat.
these turkey wings on $2.
You opened up the freezer this week and said, "We got to cook this turkey." There's a 20-pound turkey in the middle of our freezer, just hanging out.
It's been there since
It's
Thanksgiving.
been there since Thanksgiving.
I thought I was gonna get one more in.
You couldn't resist.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You heard there was a turkey shortage.
I did.
We're gonna have to have a turkey in July.
Yeah. Well, Shell, I got a couple other things, but
We're running out of time. Do you want to talk about
frog cut chicken. That's the coolest thing I've seen in a while. I think Al's the one that done it. Originally, that's the first person I saw do it. Somebody posted it in the communities where I saw it. I saw it this morning when I was just looking for some stuff last minute, and somebody posted a picture that they did some frog cut chickens. And I guess the thing was, the question was, did they cook? Was it worth trimming it like that? Did it cook any different? I don't imagine it does. But what
is
you're
it
doing?
that hard to trim it?
No, you're just hinging it. It's like, so you go in midways up under the breastbones, above the thigh, leg quarters. You hinge it and you open it up. Instead of spatchcocking it out butterfly style, you're cutting it and then pulling that breast up to where it still is laying flat. You just
Yeah.
got the breast at the top. And when you look at it from an overhead view, it kind of looks like a big old frog. Because
Yeah.
just the way
seen
it
the
looks.
picture.
And so I thought that was pretty cool. Frog cut chicken. Have y'all seen them before?
No, that's
You
crazy.
haven't seen it?
I want you to do it like Cornish hens.
Some little bullfrogs. Does it taste like chicken? That's gonna be the question. So I'm gonna do it. Make it look green and everything. Like put chimichurri seasoning all over the outside. Do some kind of green sauce on it.
I bet it'd be pretty good.
Bet it would too.
There's
How
not,
could it be bad?
there's not too much stuff you cook that's not pretty good.
We could do that. And then I saw another one that was yard pimp grenades. Those were good too.
What
saw
is it?
those.
What is that?
He had took who was it? Steve. He took chunks of chicken breast and marinated it, and then wrapped them up with like cream cheese, pineapple. Was it cream cheese or just pineapple and jalapeno and bacon? Made these little
Oh,
bombs,
yeah.
and then smoked them or grilled them. Got them glazed up. But what got me was the dipping sauce. He made it. It sounded so good. It sounded like almost like that. Don't tell the doctor dip. It didn't have the
Oh,
butter in it.
really?
But it had like cream cheese, sour cream, all the good stuff in it. Pepper jelly. I mean, it sounded really good. So, but no, that's what the community's all about. We want you to ask questions, interact, but sharing, like giving people ideas. That's inspiration. I get a lot of inspiration.
I do
from
too.
it.
I've seen a lot of really good stuff in there.
And I, it's not always about giving somebody the recipe or precisely. If you don't feel not share something you've done because you think you can't write a recipe, that's not even part of it. Just
I
put it out
can't.
there.
My
You can't write.
My recipes are you take a little dab of this.
Measure what? What's that? Suggested,
You just take a little bit of this and
but cool. But yeah, that's keep the community going.
did you want to talk about we've finally confirmed that you're going to Valhalla.
Yes, I was so excited. So I've been waiting. I was waiting for them to release the NFL schedule because there was a weekend in October where Michael gets like a Monday off.
I think it's Columbus Day.
It's like Columbus Day weekend. Yeah. And so I told him, I was like, man, let's try to go to a Vikings game. That's a perfect weekend. We could go, go up on Friday or Saturday, go to the game if there was a game on that Sunday, and then we got Monday to travel back. And it worked. And they didn't release the schedule till it was like middle of May. I think we might have been at Memphis in May or right after.
It was after.
Yeah. It hasn't been very long ago, but they came out with a schedule, and the Vikings had a game. It's a home game against the Bears, which is going to be great. Get to see them stomp the Bears. And
fingers crossed.
And yeah, so I got tickets. So now I just got to find a tailgate to go to. I'm going for the first time. I'm going to go see the Vikings play. I'm excited.
You've seen them play before, but not.
Yeah, not in Minnesota. Yeah, I've been to some Vikings games, just not up there.
Do they really call it Valhalla? Is that what you just told me?
I'm sure that if they don't have they've got a Valhalla section or ring or something. Or all the greats probably are. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that much about the new stadium. Never been there, but I'm excited.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have today.
Yeah, it's Tyler. State contest still going on? Is that over?
Yeah, no, we still have the state contest going on. You guys have till next Wednesday to get all your submissions in, and make sure you guys are helping us vote too. So if you don't put a picture of a steak in, all you got to do is go to the comments and like all of your and you can vote as many times as you want to, and vote for all the ones that you think look the best. And then whoever wins first place gets a $100 at The Butcher Shop. That's right, the one in Pensacola, $100 gift card. And then second place is a $75 HowToBBQRight gift card. And then third place is a Father's Day gift bundle. So
from the shop.
Lots of good stuff.
And just a reminder that Mikey's going to be here cooking a bunch of side dishes for all the ladies.
Are they selling side chick shirts out there yet?
I don't know. They have side.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's going to be Bushy, a couple other guys out here. Mikey making mac and cheese. Is he going to wear an apron?
He told me he was going to wear the shirt. So
but he's doing apple.
It is a unisex shirt.
He's doing like an apple cobbler.
Apple cobbler, baked beans, and mac and cheese.
The apple pie, baked beans, mac and cheese, all on the grill. No, all on pellet smoker. So if you want to come see it in action, come try them and learn how he learned some of these recipes. It's a great thing to do tomorrow from
10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
At the shop.
Be
right out front, I imagine. Can't miss it. Should be a beautiful day. Go Rebels.
Is it? Is it really going to be a beautiful day?
I think so.
Good.
What, Shell? Where can they find us?
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course YouTube. And if you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram and TikTok.
Hey, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll be back next week, and we gone.